Welcome back to the Star Sports Greyhound Derby kennel visits. Now, no one has been in as good form as Liz and Rab McNair in the last 6 months, so I've come to their kennels to meet their very talented Derby team, including current ante-post favourite King Memphis. I am now joined by Rab McNair, obviously training with wife Liz McNair. Firstly, the last 6 months for you has been very, very good. You've won pretty much everything you've entered. Can you reflect on that?
We've just went through one of these spells that these are a different batch of dogs, aren't they? These are just a new level. They've taken us up another step. So as long as they keep doing it, they just keep turning out. And I know I had some great pups back in the day with Elvis and Turbo and that, and they were the same. But these look different. These look just, it's hard to put into words what they are. You're just hoping that everything stays all right, like, you know what I mean? The secret about them is they want to win. It doesn't matter what position they're in, they want to win. So, but it's been fantastic, and listen, Mum, may it continue.
Obviously, most of the dogs that you have running are homebreds, and they're not just from one litter as well, they're from multiple litters that you've won all the cat ones with over the last few months. You must feel very, very proud.
Oh, listen, it's always been, we've always set out things. It started years ago. We set out a plan. Brendan and I sat down and had a good talk about it and come up with a plan that we was going down this road. And this back in the day when he was buying Shane Boy looking at, I says, I think the best way we could go is buy good bitches. And he went out and bought Shaw's Dilemma, who went on and won the Puppy Oaks and won the Oaks. And that was her ready for the breeding. And that's in Droopy's Ruby. And then we bought Skate On and we started putting my plan to work. And things started happening when you think back. A lot of people think this has just started like in the last year, but if you think back, King Lee, I think he was one of my first litters, and King Lee was breaking track records for fun. He was the start of her. I think he was out of Droopy's Ruby and that, you know what I mean? So we knew we had the ability, and it was just a matter of taking steps and steps and steps and educating ourselves as we went along and learning about the pups and all the rest of it. And then it just, everything fell into place. So I've got to say, all the hard work's paid off. And let me tell you something, it's all right. There's plenty of people out there thinking it's not very hard work, but they'd been for a shock if they tried to do it, because it keeps everybody on their toes in here and everybody's hard at it. Some days there's not enough hours in the day for us when we're out at pups. Liz, I'm due to let the pups next week and she'll spend 3 nights up in the whelping hut. It's work that people don't see what goes on in the place. It's unbelievable sometimes, but this is the benefit you get. This is the benefit you get. It's serious work I put in, and I play hard, and that's it. I celebrate big time, because it is hard work, and why should we know?
Definitely, and you've won loads and loads of cat ones, obviously yet to win a derby, but you think you can walk down your kennel block and see multiple ones that could do it?
I think this year, well, usually when I went to the derby, I see it different this year for the other years. Usually when we went to the English derby, last year we were favourite, we were ante-post favourite with Postapilla, but Postapilla had faults, right? Postapilla, he probably wanted rails to middle, and at some tracks he probably wanted middle more than rails. It was a hard dog to figure out where he actually wanted the dog, you know what I mean? Simply because he didn't have the early to clear them if he was out middle or wide. So it was one of the dogs that had all the pace in the world. It had pace that was unbelievable. But you know, I was getting into the English derbies with these type of dogs, and I was getting in with maybe one in the car. And going back to the days when I used to sit back at Wimbledon, when I probably had 4 or 5 in the English derby that were there for fun because they weren't good enough to win the English Derby at that time. But when I used to sit back and watch the Charlie Lister coming in with 2 van loads, you know what I mean? And you used to sit and think to yourself, great position to be in. And I think this is the first year that if everything goes all right, and you've got to understand that the Derby's not there yet, it's a wee while away, and it's 6 weeks of hard running and hard work. So I walk down through the kennel and I see a bigger selection, and not just that, I see different types of dogs. You know what I mean? Your King Coombs is going to be hammering home. Your Queen Joni is going to be banging and going for it, 100 mile an hour. Same with Memphis, same with Capaldi, bang, bang, bang. And can any one of them win a derby? In my eyes, yes. Any one of them. And if you to ask me, what one do I think would win the derby? I couldn't answer that because the simple reason is, if Joni leads Memphis round the first corner, who's going to back runner? What dog in the country can back runner, which is on that money? Then again, if Memphis hits it and goes round the corner in front, who's going to back? So it's all different. I've got all different types of dogs this year, and I've got a lot of strength and width. So, yes, I live the dream. I think I'm going to win it.
Right, now talking about the dogs more specifically, I think there's only one place to start, which is with the ante-post favourite, King Memphis. Going back to Derby time last year, he ran on Derby semi-final night and almost beat New Destiny, only went down by half a length, but a great debut. You obviously knew before that he was very good, but did that run sort of confirm the promise to you?
That run that night, I can still see it. It's full of promises, not the rest of it, when you're getting them in solos, not the rest of it. But when you're getting in there for the first race, that's completely different. I've walked in with champions for the first race in England and been well beat and started scratching my head. But when I walked in there that night and I thought, when I seen what I seen, I stood back and I says, this is a Greyhound. To do what he'd done that night, because they missed the boxes, New Destiny flew out. She was a great bitch at the time. She was winning whatever she went in, and it went by her. And I thought, it's unbelievable. So, although I get beat, I probably was higher than the winner because I knew what I had. And I sat back and just tin everything. This is your boys. This is him. So it's a matter of trying to, then you get frightened a wee bit, Emily. You get frightened a wee bit, and I'm not one of these that get frightened very easily because I do believe in running them. But then that Derby clock starts, you know what I mean? Ticking away, tick, 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 and it's getting off in your head, tick, tick, whoa, 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 we're getting closer. And you start thinking, oh, should I do this? Should I do that? Should I do that? And it starts to play up with you a wee bit. But yes, that day, and the promise has been filled.
And from there, he went into the Produce Stakes at Swindon, the Poppy Colour at Oxford, but won the Puppy Derby at Towcester, picked up King Capaldi. You obviously had the 1, 2, 3, 4. Before the race, did you prefer Memphis over Capaldi, or did it surprise you?
Wasn't too sure. To be truthful with you, sometimes I get into these races and you want them all to go and perform. Was a surprise. I was a wee bit surprised at Memphis. I did know that Capaldi would like that last 20 yards. I do think it'll be different come this weather. If that race was during the Derby, when the bit of heat's in the sand and they're bouncing off it instead of drawing themselves through it, I think that would be different then. I think it would struggle then to catch Capaldi. But one thing I will say about Memphis and Capaldi and Joni and Shakira and that, if you watch them and if you watch the way they went, if you watch them going into the corners and driving the bends and going down, you can see the determination in these dogs. There are a different type of determination in them. They want to win. They're desperate. They're busting themselves to go for it. You know what I mean? And it was a wee bit of surprise, but then again, Emily, when you get first, second, third, and fourth in the big English puppy derby, who gives? I don't care. I celebrated for the four of them that day, not just for the winner, for my four babies that I thought ran tremendous. So, yeah, so celebrated for the four of them.
Obviously, it's a Cat 1 round Towcester, so you must have been pleased with how he took to the track, and from there, the derby was on your mind even more.
I think I knew it before then, because before even that, I had went up to Towcester and I gave King Memphis a solo. I think he did 29.10, his first ever look round the place. And Joni went round in 29.12. So that day, it was that day that kind of, but what I done that day, I come on the phone and I was talking to Liz and I was talking to Brendan. I says, these are serious. These are serious. But what you've got to understand is, you've got to put that from the front of your brain to the back of your brain. You've got to switch off on that and forget about the derby, because away back then, the derby was a distance away. So you can't be sitting back then, last August and thinking English derby, because you'd be walking about fucking hell, wouldn't you? You'd make yourself ill. You'd end up sitting there. What day is it? You know what I mean? So, no, I don't try and focus on that. I've not been focusing on the derby for a wee while. Like all these Cat 1s that have been getting in with them. The derbies, I think that's another thing that has kept us kind of rightish in the road, if that's the right word, that we've been picking up and we've been going to other races, right? And that's been keeping the dogs busy away from Towcester to stop us thinking too much of the English derby. Whereas all the other times, I've been focused on the derby at all time for maybe 10 weeks before it. Whereas this time, I had that much going on round about me. Your Cat 1, your Kent Plate, your Trainers Championship, and all the rest of it. And I don't usually take part in these, but they've all kept me kind of my head focused on the one thing instead of trying to focus on the derby. But now that they're all finished and all the roads lead to Towcester, then let's just say I'm starting to get the butterflies now, right? And we're still 3 weeks away from it, but I can feel it, right? But I don't want it to get too much into me because it's too early yet.
With King Memphis, what would you say is the ideal trap? Do you want to see him in 1, or would you rather him be in 3?
I would say, no, I would say 1. He's always done well out of 1. He's always bullied his way around the bend. And it's not as if he comes out of 1 and moves out and makes a mess of races. He'll go straight. But that's the difference with this dog this time. It doesn't matter what box he's in. He'll go straight. Whether it be 1, 2 or 3 or 4, he's going straight. I've been studying that lately. The way he's been running, he's just been banging straight out the track. He's not been making mad dives in the way or out the way and all the rest of it. So, no, if he comes out of 1, he'll go up the rail. If he comes out of 2, he'll go straight. And 3 and 4, he'll go straight. 5 and 6, we'll have to wait and see.
Moving on to King Capaldi, of course, litter mate to King Memphis. He ran in the Produce Stakes, unbeaten to the final, but was beaten by Queen Joni in the final. Then he went to the Puppy Derby final at Towcester, unbeaten, of course, beaten by King Memphis. He got to the British Bred Derby at Sheffield, unbeaten, unfortunately had to be withdrawn from the final. Was promoted to the Winter Derby winner, and then got to the Kent Plate final, unbeaten, but was beaten by Queen Joni. But in his own right, he's very, very fast, and he is clearly a fantastic competition dog.
Well, the thing I would say about all the competitions you've mentioned, right? Every one of them, he would have won. Every one of them. Make no mistakes about that. You're talking about the produce, I think he drew trap 5 in the final. There's the only reason Joni beat him. He drew trap 5 in the Kent Plate final. Doesn't want it. It's all there for everybody to see where this dog wants. He wants 1, 2, or 3, preferably 1. That's where he is a dog. That's when he is a greyhound. When he is in trap 1 or 2. It was much the same as all the rest of the finals. He always seems to get that bad draw come the final, but one of the times it will land lucky for him and they'll see the proper dog.
Do you see him as one that could go all the way?
Yeah, without a shadow of doubt. If the trap draws was kind to him, I could see him being one that makes a big splash in this derby. I could see him being a lot of catching. 397, 395. He'd be a hard dog to catch up round that first bend. But it's on the hands of the gods, isn't it? We pull trap 5 or 6 in the first round. You know as well as me, there's that many dogs going into competition, the English Derby. They come over from Ireland, they come from all over the country, and they've got middle and wide runners, and they're seeding them rails, and anything can happen. So it's on the hands of God.
Now, moving on to star bitch Queen Joni. She's won 4 Category 1. She won the Produce Stakes. She won the British Bred Derby at Sheffield, the Kent Plate, the Brighton Bell. She won on Judgment Night for you on Saturday, broke the track record. She is just a bitch of a lifetime.
She's got to be up there with one of the best bitches ever after leading. She's special. And people keep asking me what I think. I've run out of words for her, you know what I mean? She's so cheeky in the kennel. She just is. She knows she's good. You know what I mean? It's like, just like you when you know you've got this, and so there's a bit of thing about her. She knows she's good, and nothing phases her. Nothing. She doesn't care. 40-kilo dogs, bring them. No caring about in front of them. And that's the thing about her. Even when she was in the semi-final of the Kent Plate, I think she was third getting into the first bend. She had nowhere to go, but she made it hers. She just went through. It was actually awesome to watch a wee bits like that. It's when I go back to what I was talking to you earlier about how determined these are. She went through a gap that night that wasn't there. She made it hers. She says, this is mine. And she's taking it. And that in itself, before she even won the Kent Plate, but that race itself told me she's a derby bitch. Because you get bitches that are fast enough for the English Derby. We've all had them. But they've no got the... if they get led, or if someone goes round the corner in front of them and they get a bump and they're out. And that tends to happen. It happens a lot with dogs too, but I see a difference in this bitch. She just makes a gap that's not there and she goes for it, and she's pure class. Pure class.
I know you said on Saturday night after she won on the Judgment Night, she always turns up on the big nights.
She does. She does. It's there for everybody to see. I don't do a lot with her when we're going for the competition. I just let her tick over and let her find her own way, you know what I mean? But then she gets, you can feel it in the lead. You can feel her. Oh, we're going again, you know what I mean? She just loves it. She loves to go. She loves to go in the van. She loves going. When you're getting her ready, you're putting the jacket on her, you can hear her and she'll go, and I'll go, and she just looks at me and it's time to go. She knows it's special, Emily. It's special just now, but she is an out-and-out derby bitch. Stand on me in that. She's got everything. She's got early. She hits it. She drives the bend. She goes for it. She goes for everything. She's got everything. This is what I can't understand. I see Memphis, and everybody's got Memphis as an English derby favourite, and fair play to everybody. That's just all about opinions, and that is their opinions. Would I be surprised if Joni beat her? No, not in one bit. And this is what I can't see. I look at the value of her. I think she was 40-1. Will she go the 6 rounds standing in her head? She'll love it. She'll thrive on it. That's what she wants. People haven't caught on to this yet, but that's what she wants. Bang, 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 bang. And then I tell her, we're there. We're there, Ed. She'll want it even more. Let's go for it. But she's so good at it. She knows everything. She's clever. She is very clever. So.
And she's only had the one look at Towcester so far. She clocked 29.12 when she was 18 months old, which is scary, but you think Towcester is going to suit her?
She loves the place. I seen it that day. And I look at dogs that she's ridden against. I look at the likes of your bitch. I think your bitch was going round Towcester before she come down to Hove. What was she doing? 28.80? She'll do 28.50 if she turns the corner in front. She's just special, Emily. She is. And that's the only word I can say about her. Listen, she came up there with the greats. I don't see why no, because she's young. She's so full of herself. And she loves it. Will the 6 rounds over the 500 bother her? Not in the slightest. Not a bit. She'll thrive on it. So, we'll go for it.
Now moving on to another little brother of Capaldi and Memphis is King Coombs. Now he is a little bit different to them because he perhaps doesn't have the early, but he stays very strongly.
He's a dog that we've been watching, and we decided we had to do a wee bit work with him, because there's one thing, and it's a thing that a lot of people don't understand, is when I bring my pups out of the field and into, I showed you my paddocks, I showed you my puppy paddocks, and I showed you, but when I bring my pups in, they get nothing. They get very little schooling, and sometimes you have to watch a dog and you see him just no right, putting his head down to go to work, right? And I've had to do a wee bit of work with him just to bring him in his last few trials. And the difference I see about the dog in his last 2 or 3 trials is phenomenal. The times he's been doing and everything, I think are up there with Memphis and that. He's starting to get his trapping boots together. Everything's coming good. I think he'll thrive on it. The runs, the more runs he gets. So I think everything will come right about him. He's a big, powerful dog. Very, very powerful dog. He's got everything about him. And I would like to see him going a long way. The boss really fancies him to be in the final. I fancy him to be in the final. I don't think, in his full career, I don't think he's been out the first 3. So that's all you're looking for. Qualify a few rounds, win a couple of rounds, and get to the final and take your chances, as they say, isn't it? So no, I've taken it a bit different with him. We've just moved in a different way with him, but he's ready. He's ready now. He's ready to rock and roll. So we'll probably give him a few trial stakes, then go for it. He's class. He is class. He's a different type of class. He's no bang on. You know what I mean? But he's a different type of class. But he's got all the gears in the world, and it'll come big time during this derby.
Like say, he adds versatility to your team because he doesn't need to lead.
No,
he's probably not going to lead, but you know he's always got a chance.
Oh yeah, listen, you wouldn't put him out of race until you see him going over the winning line, because he'll be there or thereabouts. He'll come up the home straight when the rest of them are looking for oxygen. He'll still be running on. And one thing about him, one thing I've always noticed about him, he does love Towcester. I don't know whether it's a kind of noisy hair or what it is, but every time I've seen this dog running at Towcester, he's a different dog. He's a different type of dog at Towcester. he goes that wee bit better. So once he gets, if he gets to it, 4 or 5 runs, I think he'd get better and better every time he went to a place. So looking forward for him to come back and go about the business.
Another littermate of Memphis Capaldi Coombs is King Sydney. He's fairly lightly raced. Obviously, hasn't achieved quite as much as his brothers just yet, but he proved that he could do it on the big nights, winning the 500-metre race on Judgment Night on Saturday.
He's been on and off this dog for a wee while, but I know he's got the ability. He's got great ability. Just had a few problems with him, and I managed to get a few sprints into him and a 4-bender into him, and then I went to Hove and I gave him a 4-bender. Coolie of Gold, Maxine Locks, just held him off. But I thought it was a great run for him. Some people didn't. I thought it was, because I don't think people realise how good Coolie of Gold is. I think he's a right proper dog. So I kind of sat down and I was picking a team for the Judgment Night, and I was sitting thinking, will I put Queen Dusty in the bitches, and will I put Joni in this, and will I put Memphis in that, and you try and use that kind of team because Dusty's out and gone. And I sat and swather about it. But the one thing about King Sydney these races, and I know it's in the locker, it's just a matter of getting these races to bring him up to speed. But that's when I thought of the English Derby. And I says, well, if I need to get him ready for the English Derby, he probably needs more running than Memphis, Joni or that, you know what I mean? So that's why I put him forward for it. And the way he's running Saturday, and when you watch him on Saturday, you would say 500 metres is going to be a big struggle for him. No chance. This dog gets it all day long. It's just, he's not at that level yet, but it's coming. And I see how much the run brought him on. You watch a dog and you see how it's brought him on, and I can see how much it's brought him on. So I think in the next 2 or 3 weeks, I think he's the dog that's going to be one of the most improving dogs in my kennel that I'll put in the Derby. He'll be one of the dogs that'll improve more the more runs he gets, you know what I mean? So he's a good wee asset to have, and I think he's got all the ability. Any other pup that I've got out there, any other brothers like that, I think he's got that ability. So it's just a matter of time.
I think before the runs at Hove, he had some flying sprint trials, one around Towcester, and then matched King Memphis' sprint trial at Hove 16-16, which is obviously great. So he's got that early. Is that going to be his running style, being out and gone?
Yeah, I would say. But saying that, I watched him one night, I think it was in the Winter Derby at Mormore, he came from off the pace and won. That's what I'm saying. He's just, he's one of the dogs that's going to be coming through. And what I'm hoping is that we're going to find, we're going to, somewhere in amongst all the running about and all the rest of it, we're going to see the real Sydney. I think that's what I want to see. I want to see the real Sydney come the first round, the second round, or wherever it is in the English Derby. I'm expecting people to be, no so much the Joe public or that. I'm expecting me driving home to where Liz, or driving home talking to her Liz and saying, did you see him? I told you it was there. I told you it was going to come, and that's it. We've reached that point. It's going to come, and that's what I'm hoping for. But you're always just hoping.
Another bitch in Rab's team is going to be Queen Shakira. She's an Oak semi-finalist. She's got a sub-29 time at Towcester, low 29 times at Hove and Central Park. So she's another very, very fast bitch.
Yeah, just had a wee bit of trouble where just below TFL, I was getting a bit of trouble with it there, and I had to just lay her to the side. But we've been doing a lot of work, and she'll go for a sprint at Central Park this week. She'll probably get another sprint at Central Park, and whether I gear a 4-bender before the English Derby starts, I don't know, because I don't think it bothers her too much. She's got it in the locker, you know what I mean? She's got everything. She's got a bit of everything. I think she was doing 29.10, 29 dead, round 12 and all the rest of it. She's got everything in the locker. Probably the same as Sydney. She's in the same kind of... The other ones you've seen what they've got. The Jonis, the Capaldis, the Memphis, you've seen them. The King Coombs. The King Sydney and the Queen Shakira, you've not been able to see the best of them yet. So these are the couple that I'm expecting to see coming, like what I say, second or wherever they get 2-3 weeks down the line, and driving home and saying, they're here, they've arrived. You know what I mean? And that's what you're hoping for. So listen, she's a great bitch. She's a great all-round bitch. Never beat. She goes for it. So yeah, looking forward to her, because I can see which is in front of her.
She's had 3 runs at Towcester and only 1 defeat when she was knocked over in the Puppy Derby at Towcester, so she seems to suit the track.
Yeah, no problems with tracks. What was she in against that day? She was in against, it was one of Millions, I think. She got knocked over because they led her up the inside. I'm not quite sure. It was a bit messy that day, and she came out the worst of it, because I was actually expecting her to go round in front that day. She has class. The fall, I thought it kind of taken a wee bit of confidence away, you know what I mean? But I sat back and I gave her a bit of time, and we gave her a couple of runs, easy runs and all the rest of it, and then I started dropping her in that wee bit harder and that wee bit harder at Hove, and I could see her coming and coming and coming, and I says, oh, we're coming, love, you know. So, but hopefully we can get a couple of wee sprints into her, whether she goes into the Derby fresh without a 4-bender. I would like to get a 4-bender into her, but whether we've got the time, maybe have the time, we'll see what happens come the time.
Moving on to Queen Dusty, another great bitch, great competition bitch. She made 3 finals at the back end of last year, then got to the Puppy Oaks final and won it. A great competition bitch, and another quick one.
And the finalist in the Brighton Bell, she led in the Brighton Bell, didn't she? She led the boxes. She was in front of Joni going up into the first corner. The only thing about Dusty is Dusty doesn't come across and drive in. If there's a dog on the inside there, she'll keep herself to herself. But I thought she ran magnificent. And she's only about 13 weeks, 14 weeks. So by the time the Derby comes round, she'll be up there, and she runs Towcester well. I mean, she won the Puppy Oaks, and she was so inexperienced in that. But no, looking forward to her, because she's a wee pocket rocket. She's just small and that, but she knows how to go about the business, and she's never beat. When she won the Puppy Oaks, I think a couple of times she was coming off the pace. But the difference I see in her now, from back then, is there's probably 2 yards quicker to the first corner now. She's banging the boxes, she's flying to the corner. And I'm saying 2 lengths, it's maybe more than that. She's absolutely different going to that corner now. So, no, she would be a wee bitch that would take her chance, and you never know. This might be a 6th final, 7th final or something. It wouldn't surprise me with her, because nothing surprises me with her. She's just different. She's got a wee bit of class about her. Is she up there with the Jonis and that? Probably a month or 2 months ago I'd have said no. But after watching her, because she's had her season and coming out her season and going through the Brighton Bell, I don't know now, because she's got that wee bit, she's starting to show that wee bit of something that I didn't think was there, but it's there now. So whether the season's helped her just grow up and change and muscle out a bit better and all the rest of it, because she's an absolutely stunner, and she does everything right, and nothing phases her. So no, she'd be good wee bits to, probably as good as what I used to go to that, baby. You know what I mean? That's a, but now we're going with a bigger team and a stronger team and a wider team, strength, depth. So But listen, she's well deserved to be in the van to take a shot in it. She's well deserved.
Two potentials for the team are Havana Top Note and Queen Georgia. They go into Sheffield for the 3 steps, but if they don't make the final, then they are going to be derby entries for you. We'll start with Havana Top Note. Maybe took a while to come to being as good as he is, but he's won both the staying competitions at Oxford and is just a win machine for you.
Listen, one thing about him is when we Havana Top Note, if he's sound and he's 100%, he gives you everything. He gives you 1,000,000%. He goes on there and he wants to please you. He's one of these dogs. He's happy. He just wants to please you. Would he be a derby dog? I've put worse than him in the English derby. I'll put it like this with you. I've probably put a lot worse than him in the English derby when the derby was at Wimbledon. And I've woke up and we've been in the semi-finals. You know what I mean? And probably not in the same league as this wee dog. He's only a wee light dog. He's only 31.5 kilos. But you'd think he's a monster when he's running because he goes for it. He gives you everything. And it wouldn't surprise me to see him going 2, 3, whatever. It wouldn't surprise me one bit. He gives you all. So, yes, I've had a lot worse than him loading into the van and going for a shot at the English derby. He'll give us everything.
And Queen Georgia, she's a very exciting bitch. Looks like she's going to be an exciting bitch over 6 bends, but she's pretty fast over 4-2.
Listen, she's broke 29 at Towcester. She's a good wee genuine bitch. She bangs the boxes. When she bangs the boxes, she's excellent. But listen, every time I see her running, I get this wee girl running over and tell me, that'll get 6 bends, that'll get 6 bends. So, I think to myself, maybe she's right. We'll try her the 3 steps to victory. So the 3 step to victory is a kind of funny competition because it starts off at a 480. So these two, Queen Georgia and Havana Top Note, I'll give them the entries and I'll pay the entries. If they get to the final, well, it clashes. So obviously they wouldn't be in the derby. We would go for the Sheffield race, the 3 steps to victory. So whether we lose with derby entry, we're willing to take that chance. But there's 2 of them that I'll very gladly put in the van along with the others. And if they come out and beat the others, that wouldn't surprise me either. You know what I mean? They're different. They're strong. They'll take the punishment of the derby. They'll take the running of the derby. Week in, week out, week out. In fact, some of them, the likes of Memphis and your Georgia and your Joni, they would probably have loved it even better when it was back to the Wimbledon days, when it was 3 rounds in the week. They would have thrived in that. And sometimes I think it's a good thing, but sometimes I think I've had some dogs that would have handled that better than what this does now. But that's the way the derby is. That's everything about it. And listen, we'll load our vans up. We'll get up there. I think the biggest thing about it all is, I think we need to go as a Greyhound community. That's one of the things I've always believed in. And I think we need to go and have some fun. Because I think a lot of the fun, I try and keep it in the game. I try and keep everybody kind of smiling and have a joke and all the rest of it. But I wish more people would do it. And I think they would relax a bit more. I know we all get tense. Well, listen, so do I. But let's try and enjoy it, and let's try and make it a derby to remember. It's Towcester. It's fantastic. It's got the big towers and everything. Does it not make the hairs in the back of your neck stand? It still does it for me. I just hope we've got it all right. And as I say, big thanks to Ben Keith. He stuck by us. He keeps sponsoring the English Derby for us. We've done our best for him. We keep trying to produce the dogs for him. So fair play to Ben and Star Bookmakers and keep it up.